You are not on the list. Step away from the door. The words cut through the grand entrance of the Baobab Legacy Gala like a blade. For a moment, the music inside kept playing. The violins continued. Crystal glasses continued clinking. And the most powerful people in East Africa kept smiling and laughing under chandeliers worth more than most families would earn in a lifetime. But at the entrance, everything had already changed. Because standing beneath the gold lights, dressed in a simple black evening gown, was the one woman nobody expected to see that night, Amara Dlamini, the wife of billionaire tech mogul Malik Dlamini, or at least, the woman everyone believed was just his wife. The guard at the door shifted uncomfortably. His earpiece crackled again. Then he looked at Amara with the kind of apology that comes too late to matter. "Ma'am," he said quietly, "your name was removed this afternoon." Amara didn't blink. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't beg. She simply looked past him, into the ballroom, where her husband stood beneath a stage spotlight with a champagne glass in one hand and a smiling woman in silver wrapped around his arm. That woman was Nia Kone, a famous luxury influencer, a beautiful face, a public obsession, and, if the rumors were true, Malik's future. Amara's eyes remained steady. "I'm his wife," she said. The guard swallowed. "I understand, ma'am, but I was instructed not to let you in." Before she could answer, the crowd inside shifted. A few heads turned, then more. And then Malik saw her. At first he looked annoyed, then surprised, then furious. He handed his drink to a waiter and walked toward the entrance with the confidence of a man who had never been told no in years. By the time he reached her, the people nearest the door had already stopped pretending not to watch. Malik lowered his voice, but not enough. "What are you doing here?" Amara held his gaze. "I came because I was invited." "No," Malik said flatly. "You were invited before I corrected the mistake." A murmur spread through the room. Nia approached more slowly, a glittering smile on her face. She looked Amara up and down, not at her face, at her dress, at her shoes, at the fact that she wore no diamonds, no dramatics, no visible wealth. And Nia laughed. "Oh," she said softly, just loud enough for others to hear. "So this is her." A few nearby guests smiled into their glasses. Malik folded his arms. "Amara, look around. Ministers are here. Royal advisors are here. Foreign investors are here. This isn't one of your charity dinners in Mombasa. You don't belong here tonight." The words hit the room and settled into it. Cruel. Precise. Public. And still Amara did not react the way he expected. No tears. No shaking. No pleading. That calmness irritated Malik more than any outburst could have. He took a step closer. "For once in your life," he said, "try not to embarrass me." Several people looked away, not because they were shocked, because they were uncomfortable. Because humiliation is easy to enjoy until it gets too honest. Amara's face remained unreadable. "I never came to embarrass you, Malik." He laughed. "Then you failed without even trying." Nia leaned against him with a soft smile. "Honestly," she said, "someone should have explained dress code and dignity to her before she came." That brought a little more laughter. Just enough to make the scene feel official. Malik turned to security. "Remove her." The older of the two guards hesitated. "Sir, I said remove her." The guard looked at Amara with visible discomfort. She gave him the smallest nod. "It's fine," she said. And that somehow made it worse. Because dignity under humiliation is unbearable to insecure people. As the guards gently guided her back toward the entrance, Malik exhaled with satisfaction. The music began again. The room relaxed again. The wealthy returned to their smiles. Another scandal handled. Another inconvenient woman erased. Or so they believed. Outside, the night air was cool and sharp. The city below glittered beyond the hotel steps. Amara stood beneath the stone archway and listened to the distant hum of traffic. Behind her, through the glass, she could still see the gala glowing like another planet. A reporter who had witnessed everything from the sidewalk approached carefully. "Mrs. Dlamini," he called out, "do you have any comment on what just happened?" Amara turned slightly, but before she could answer, a second phone inside her handbag began to ring. Not her public phone. The other one. The one she never used unless the world was shifting. She took it out. The device was matte black and unmarked. Only 4 people on the continent had that number. She answered. "Yes?" A deep male voice came through immediately. "Ma'am, the Union convoy has arrived." Amara's eyes lifted toward the dark sky. "Already?" "They moved ahead of schedule. We also confirmed the ministers received the alert." A pause. "And Malik?" "He has no idea." For the first time all night, a faint smile touched her lips. "Good," she said. "Let them all see it clearly." Then she ended the call. At that exact moment, the sound began. Low at first, then growing. Rotors, heavy engines, movement. Inside the ballroom, conversations faltered as several guests turned toward the tall glass windows overlooking the private driveway. One helicopter appeared above the hotel, then another, then a third. On the ground, black armored vehicles swept through the front gates in perfect formation, each carrying the same deep bronze emblem on the doors, a baobab tree inside a circle. The reaction inside the ballroom was immediate. A deputy minister from Kenya stood up too quickly and nearly knocked over his chair. A Nigerian shipping magnate went pale. An elderly banker from Accra whispered something under his breath and reached for his phone. All across the room, devices began vibrating at once. One message, one subject line. Priority arrival confirmed. Chairwoman A. Okoye has entered the premises. Malik frowned. "What is this?" Nobody answered. Nia laughed nervously. "Probably another investor stunt." But the laugh died fast, because people were no longer smiling. They were standing, straightening ties, fixing jackets, moving away from the center aisle as though something sacred or dangerous was about to pass through it. Malik grabbed the arm of Cabinet Secretary Tawanda Mbele, a man who had ignored 3 presidents but was now visibly unsettled. "What's going on?" Mbele looked at him in disbelief. "You don't know?" "Know what?" The older man stared toward the entrance. "Dear God," he whispered. "You really don't know who you married." Then the ballroom doors opened. Not wildly, not dramatically. Slowly, with the kind of control that commands silence better than force ever could. First came 6 members of a close protection unit in dark, tailored suits. Then 2 senior protocol officers. Then a woman in white gloves carrying a sealed portfolio. And behind them, walking with calm, measured grace, as if the world had finally returned to its proper order, came Amara. The same woman, the same face, the same black gown, and yet, somehow, not the same at all. Because now, the room was seeing her through truth instead of assumption. She stepped onto the marble floor, and one by one, every leader in the room rose to their feet. Ministers, governors, executives, diplomats, people Malik had spent years trying to impress. People who barely nodded to billionaires. People who now lowered their heads to his wife. No one told them to stand. They stood because power had entered. Malik felt the